your first game in college was in one of the biggest arenas in college basketball, one of the biggest arenas in basketball in general, Madison Square Garden. What was that arena like, and what was that moment like for you?
It was really cool. It was like a crazy moment. Just being a little like starstruck. So, I was starstruck until the tip off, but after that, I kind of just locked in, and after a while, it just starts to feel like basketball, and yeah.
But as much as you say that, like, that's the media answer, hey, I just locked in. I mean, like, it does things to people. Like, you look at Jay Will. Jay Will was a great basketball player. He was in the talk for National Player of the Year last year. And you watched what he did his first game in Madison Square Garden. It is something
jack up a shot and brick.
And, brick, get taken out, turnover, reach and foul. I can't remember exactly what it was. But, I mean, that is something that, hey, like, that's your welcome to Kansas moment. Like, Madison Square may be the biggest stage just because it's Madison Square Garden, but that's not the biggest game. You've already played against UConn at home. You already played against Mizzou at home. You already played at Assembly Hall, which is arguably a top 5 place to play in college basketball. Was that kind of your welcome being like, okay, hey, like, this is for real different, where I need to be put blinders on. I need to really sit there and be like, hey, like, it just needs to be me against the people on the court and not worry about, hey, where we're playing, who's going to be in the crowd. Is it going to be the loudest fans in all of college basketball? Are we going to break the record tonight? It's kind of one of those things where what really like went through your head, we're like, okay, hey, yeah, I need to stop worrying about that kind of stuff. It's obviously great, but it's not great if you don't win in those arenas.
No doubt. Yeah. I say just like being like close with the guys on the team before the game helps a lot. Cause it's just like, in the locker room when it's loud and stuff, you can hear the fans. It's like, that gets your blood pumping a little bit, gets you going. So, it's definitely jitters, especially coming from high school. Like my home court, like the biggest crowd we got was probably like 200 people. Like it wasn't nothing. So like going from like 200 people to that was definitely just like a shock. So it's like, in my head, I'm trying to visualize like all the stuff I did on that court and how I could try to transform it onto this court that I'm on now, and in like different ways, and like just trying to manifest different parts of the game and see it before it happens.
You'll never play in front of 200 people ever again. Like, ever in your life. Like, you'll never, unless COVID hits again somehow, and like, I knock on wood on that one, I don't want that to ever happen again. You will never play in front of less than probably 6,000 people. It's
crazy too, because it's like, I don't know, I feel like now I'm not taking it for granted, but like I'm kind of like becoming used to it. Like walking out in Allen and it's like 16,000. Like even when we played Yale, like there's not many schools in the nation that pack their whole entire gym right before Christmas. Like, there's
maybe three. There's maybe three, and it's Assembly, it's Cameron, and it's Allen. Like Rupp's too big to like be able to fill it every single game. And Allen Fieldhouse, without a doubt, I watched you guys against Eastern Illinois. Like I was at the game, I sat up in the bleeds and everything. First time I've done that in forever. I felt very odd, but it was like it also gave me an appreciation where it's like I was sitting there shoulder to shoulder with people on a game that meant nothing, and people were there just so excited to be in the Mecca, which is something that it's like, you can't take that for granted. I took it for granted a lot of the time, but now you come back to it and you'll come back. I mean, you look at CB, you look at all those guys that come back all the time, it's because they love the fact that it's like that. Like you'll never play, regardless if you go 1 year, 2 years, however long you go here, like this, you'll never play in an environment like this unless you're in the NBA finals.
No, it really is different. And to add to your point, that is another thing that made me like fall in love with Kansas. Just the energy that stadium has, for real. It's just different. Like walking in there like late night or even just with the coaches or something, like you just feel the energy. Like it's hard to explain, but you just feel it. Like it's something there that's different about like any other gym. Like
that building has soul.
Jay Billis said it best. I don't know. He did the little TikTok thing. He does it once a year, like the top 5 arenas. And he was talking about Cameron Indoor and Allen Fieldhouse. He was like, you go sit in there And like it's like almost seeing ghosts. Like you just feel it. Like I don't know what it
Yeah.
is about it. You go sit there, regardless if there's one person in there or 16,000. Like you sit there and you just like feel something. And it is true. Like when you go practice in there, like when you practice in the practice gym, there's not much pressure. Like I don't know what it is, but like you go practice in Allen, like it feels that there's a lot of pressure. And there's only the team in there. It's ridiculous.
That's why I love practicing Allen. Like the PG's good, but I love practicing in Allen. Like that's by far. Like if we can practice in Allen every day,
you know game day's coming whenever
exactly.
we're practicing in Allen. Like that's the coolest part.